What's up, everybody? Chris back with Sticks It to the Man Percussion. Working on a project here that I wanted to try myself. I saw a video from a drum manufacturer that is marketing what they are calling a drum tuning turntable. I'm not going to name the company on this video because I do respect them. They do make nice drums and other equipment. But when I looked it up, I was a little surprised by the price of it. They wanted like 180 bucks. If you're interested in who is making that, it's not that hard to find out. But I wanted to try to see if I could make my own version of it for cheaper. So this is what I came up with. I picked up some, I guess they're calling this like particle board or fiber board, I think is what it's called. I bought it in a 24 by 48 inch piece, and I got a jigsaw. I decided to cut it into a 24-inch circle. So then what I've got, I also cut a small piece here that I've already got some glue setting on, and I found this little device, gadget, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically a ball bearing swivel for a cabinet Lazy Susan. Bought it at Home Depot for like $5. Came in a package like this. So I started out by cutting out my pieces. I just measured this by the size of it because I'm going to make it about the same size, and it'll be on the bottom side. And then I've got some rubber-like material that I picked up at a local hardware store. And I use this sometimes for making drum practice pads. Works really good. You get some bounce, but you have to kind of work for it a little bit. Really good for making practice pads. I'm all about saving a buck if I can. So then I've got some just flooring adhesive that I already had, and some very cheap carpet-like material that I also cut into a circle same size as the board here. So basically what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this rubber material and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this started on this smaller board, and this is going to be the bottom side. The reason for the rubber-like material is to kind of keep it from sliding around. You know, I had it, so I thought, you know, why not use it? So basically the way this glue works is you have to spread a thin coat on, and then you let it sit for a few minutes till you start to see it become clear and it has like a tack to it before you actually put whatever you're gluing on it. You know, so it took about maybe 10 minutes or so. And that's already sticking pretty good. So I'm just going to set this aside. Actually, I'm going to put it right under the bucket here, get some weight on it. Kind of help it out a little bit. Switch this over here. And I'm going to just start spreading out a real thin coat of this glue on the side that I'm going to put my carpet on. And I just got a little putty knife here that I'm using, and I'm just going to spread it out real thin on here. Real thin coat. I went ahead and I pre-cut everything, pre-measured everything, so that way this video isn't too long, and I'll try to go as quick as I can. But I kind of want to give you guys an idea of what this is, how it works, and how cheap I was able to do it. So I'm just going to get some of this stuff here. I'm just going to you want to make sure you get all the way to the edge with it, because I did cut the carpet to fit the entire width of this board piece, wood, whatnot. I want to get just a thin coat. You don't need very much of it, because when this stuff starts to tack up, it is super sticky. It's made for it's not even carpet glue, it's actually for vinyl tile. So this stuff is, if you've ever removed vinyl tile, you know how sticky this stuff is, or gets. But it starts out like wood glue almost, kind of consistency. I just want to get it all spread all the way around, all the way to the edge. I don't know about you, but I'm all about saving a buck. If I can find something that I think is cool, you know, and I think that it's priced a little high, like I do this item that I found. I mean, $180, I mean, it's a cool thing, but I've been tuning drums on the floor or on a table or whatever for years. So do you really even need this thing? No, I never have. But I do see where it will come in really handy for not just tuning, but if you're you know, changing out hardware for any reason on a drum kit. And I am making this big enough where I can go all the way up to a 22-inch bass drum on it, sitting flat on the rim. Anything bigger than that, you could still use it for. You would just have to set it on its side of the shell, like you would if you were, or the way that it's sitting on the floor, basically. That's what the carpet is for, just to protect the whole drum in itself. But I do see where, you know, this is going to be a useful thing to have, because, you know, you never know when you gotta, you know, it will make things easier to tune, also to, you know, change out any hardware. If you're crazy like me and take a drum set like this that was originally royal blue vinyl wrapped, they were banged up because I'd had them a long time. I stripped all the wraps off, sanded them down, stained them and clear coated them. I wish I would have had this thing when I did that, because it would have made things for prepping the shells so much easier. But I don't know, it took me like 3 weeks to do it. I think it turned out awesome. I love the way that it turned out. But I wish I would have had something like this when I did that. So basically just letting this sit and letting it kind of get some air, and it'll start to get kind of tacky when you touch it. And that's when it'll be a good time to actually lay this carpet on there. And this is just something I had laying around, but you could always pick up like a piece of remnant. You just want something that's, you know, not super fluffy. This is like an indoor-outdoor carpet that I just had some, you know, left, and that's what I'm using. Yeah, basically had a piece, I cut it, and then I cut a big hole out of it in a circle in the shape of my board here. And then, let's see, I think it's probably good enough to, you know, this stuff doesn't even have a backing on it. It's probably going to get some air through it. So just to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on here. So you just want to make sure that you get it all the way up to the edges. Make sure that it's nice and centered, as good as you can possibly get it. And then just kind of help work it in, help get it to stick. And now, just to get some weight on it to help it stay where it needs to stay, I'm going to flip it over. And if you did go a little hair over, basically on that stuff, because there's no backing, I couldn't get a marker or a pen to show a line to cut it, so I used a white crayon. Worked pretty good. So now on the other side, I've already got my measurements of where this needs to go. But before I can put it and screw it to there, I actually have to do the bottom piece first, because once you turn it, you only have a little bit of clearance where you're going to be able to get to the screw holes. So you actually have to do the smaller one first. So that's sticking pretty good already. And I tell you what, it would take everything you had to get that back off of there once it's completely dry. That glue is really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this in place. And then I've got some, this is 3/4 inch board, so I got 1/2 inch screws I'm using. These are just wood screws, flat head wood screws. And because I'm using a fiber board, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get these screws in, and then I'm going to back them back out so that I can put a little wood glue in there, because fiberboard has a tendency to strip easy. So if you do this and you use this kind of wood, be very careful when you drill it in. Don't hit it hard with the drill or you'll strip the hole out, because it's basically dust that's glued together. So you know, the threads tend to rip through it pretty good if you're not careful. So that's why I'm using a little wood glue in the holes to kind of help hold it in place. So let me see if I can get one started here. I'm just going to lightly put it in, and then I'm going to back them back out and put some of that glue in there. It's actually taken pretty good. I actually don't know if I'm really going to need the glue. I may go back and do that later, actually. I am also using a cordless impact drill. If you're not used to an impact drill, I wouldn't use it for a project like this using this kind of wood, because you know, this thing does spin pretty quick, and if you jam it too hard, again, you'll strip this stuff out pretty quick. But it's heavy, it's dense, and it stays straight, and it doesn't warp like regular plywood does. That's why I chose this. Alright, that seems like it's pretty tight, so I think I'm good there. Another thing you want to do is before you actually, well, you could do it after too, because it'll probably have to be done every once in a while, but when you get these swivels, the ball bearings are not, they're not lubricated. So you might want to throw some 3-in-1 oil or something in there every once in a while just to keep the bearings lubed up. So now I've got that part done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can get I've made some marks here for my screw holes on the bottom of the other board. And I'm going to go ahead and pop a few screws in there. Then we'll flip it over and show you how this thing works. Start to see that's starting to let go of it, because it had a little bit of a curve to it because I got it in a roll, or it came in a roll. Basically what it's for is for putting a treadmill on. You get it in like big long pieces, but works really good to make practice pads. I've made a few of them now. Just kind of looking around because I think I actually have one of the practice pads I made with it here in my studio somewhere. Alright, that seems pretty tight. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this back over. And now now you basically have a giant Lazy Susan. Just like that. So let me grab a drum here. Grab my Fat Boy 14 by 6.5 Tama metal snare drum. Similar to the Ludwig version that John Bonham used, one of my favorites. But yeah, you just put it on there when you're tuning, and now you can turn the drum. Anything up to a 22-inch bass drum will fit on here. If you get bigger than that, then you could still use it. You would just then set it this way, go around the drum, spin it around, go around the other drum. Easy as that, but works pretty awesome. I do think so. Glad you guys watched this. I hope if you decide that you could benefit from a turntable for tuning or for hardware removal or whatever you might be doing, this is a good way to do it. This whole project cost me like 30 bucks versus the 180 that the one you can buy is being marketed for. I just thought that was a little crazy, but pretty easy project. In total, it took me like an hour to do. So, you know, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about it. You know, hit the like button. Comment what you would have done different. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post new content. Also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Sticks It to the Man Percussion. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.